Good afternoon. Well, today is what date is it today? It's the 4th of January today, and I've just picked up this. It got delivered to me this morning. Decided I wanted another little project to get myself into. My last project was a Honda Hornet 600, a 98 model. Restored that, got it back on the road, rebuilt the engine, replaced the engine. Yeah, there's some YouTube videos of me working on that. But this time I think I'll document this a bit more consistently. So, reason behind this, my wife wants to learn how to ride. I also wanted a little bit of a restoration project. So I took this in. This is a CBF125, 2010 model. I know absolutely nothing about this bike, no history. Took it in as a non-runner, so it doesn't work, it doesn't start, so this is the hopefully me documenting the process of restoring it and getting it up and running and figuring out what's wrong with it. And I kind of like that. I kind of like the unknown of, you know, what's wrong. It could need a complete engine rebuild. I do anticipate that, but you know, it's only a small engine. Shouldn't be too difficult. So haven't really had a proper look around it yet, but I've just taken off the seat and the side panels. I have taken off one part, which I'll get to in a bit, but just looking around it initially, the first thing I noticed was there's a wing mirror missing. We should have two, so not sure what's going on there. Yeah, judging from this, maybe it's been dropped. Don't know. Wing mirror broken off, possibly. Not sure. So what else have I noticed initially? Just walking around it. Yeah. This little cable looks like the speedometer cable snapped. Not sure why. Looks like it goes back in there, but easily replaceable. A little bit of expected corrosion here, but that's overly not too bad. Looks like I can still get those bolts out and sand and respray if I needed to. Right, other things I've noticed. This. So it looks like the return spring for the side stand is missing. Chain looks like it hasn't been serviced or looked after at all. What else? Oh yeah, over here indicator is hanging loose, so I suspect I suspect it might have been dropped, but it doesn't. The bodywork looks okay, nothing's cracked apart from the front mudguard looks cracked, so yeah, maybe it's been dropped, not sure. But the forks don't look bent, handlebars are completely straight, so at least I hope they are. Let's have a check on that. Yeah, so yeah, it looks fairly symmetrical. Other things, obviously, geez, this is a 9-year-old bike now, so this is a little bit loose, could sort that out. So yeah, overall it's probably not a huge project. Someone's put the bandit stick on here, maybe that's the bike they really wanted. So yeah, it's interesting. I kind of like not knowing what's wrong with this and then just fixing each part as they come. So the first problem, the other thing I noticed, well, it was advertised as not starting, so this is what you'd happen. You put the key in, ignition would come on, you try and start, and then you hear the solenoid. Now you probably notice there's only one of the cables connected there because I've removed the other one, but that's what would happen. So I've done an initial investigation, had a look. The other thing I noticed, which is also a bit problematic, which concerns me a little bit, is that the key that they gave me does not open the fuel cap. So, and I don't want to break the key. So I don't know if just the mechanism inside there is jammed, or or this has had a new fuel tank at some point, and they've just not given me the key for the cap on the fuel tank. It's done 25,250 miles. Yeah. Right, so on to the reason. So the first problem I wanted to investigate was why it's not starting. So I've taken the starter motor out. I've checked the battery. Battery looks okay. It's holding a charge. So I've taken the starter out, and as you can see just here, because I wanted to have a look, basically power up the starter to see if I could get the motor turning with another battery, and it doesn't. So I will show you the reason why. Look at that. If you look closely there's one brush which looks fairly worn, but look at the other brush, completely and utterly gone, and the rest of it there is just fallen off the wire, the little bits of wire which goes to the positive terminal, and that's completely destroyed. So I've got a new set of brushes on the way, so I'm hoping to repair this motor rather than having to replace it. Yeah, so that's on order. So that's the reason why I believe it won't start. Well, at least the engine won't turn over at least. But other thing I've done is I've removed this cover here. I've tried to turn the engine by hand. It does turn, but I find it sort of jams. So yeah, that's a bit concerning. So you sort of turn the engine over manually, it turns, feels kind of loose, feels like maybe there's not much compression there. So yeah, and then it sort of gets stuck as if maybe the piston's hitting a valve or something. So I suspect an engine rebuild is probably going to be needed on this one. So but that's okay. So yeah, this is part one of the CBF125 restoration mini project. So stay tuned, and hopefully I'll keep updating you with progress of how I get on.